everybody, and good Wednesday evening to you. We are back for Weather Geeks, the midweek edition. We're going to shift our focus from cold to snow over the next couple of days, particularly on Friday. And of course, we're going to break all that down in this video. First, a quick review of the numbers from this morning. And the wind chills were pretty much as expected. We bottomed out at about minus 13 for a wind chill this morning. Lots and lots of Valley schools and students and teachers in schools, I should say, had the day off, of course, as a result of these rather harsh wind chills at the start of the day today. The wind chill did climb above zero by mid-afternoon, and this will be the worst of the cold in this outbreak. Not exactly balmy over the next few days. Saturday in particular looks blustery and just not very nice, but this morning's wind chills should be about as cold as we will see in this outbreak. All right, this cold that we have right now is, kind of generic or vanilla January cold. It's kind of interesting to do a little comparison on how we're doing in comparison to many cities in Alaska. The 7 o'clock Eastern temperature, 20 degrees in Youngstown, but Anchorage, Alaska, in the middle of the afternoon, 21, a little bit warmer than we are right now. That's, of course, just one place in Alaska, but overall, actually, Alaska is quite warm, and this should come as no surprise. Usually when Alaska is warmer than average, downstream of that means the Arctic air is spilled into the lower 48 states. So way up in the Arctic Circle, hey, above zero in mid-January, hey, we'll take that in Dead Horse, Alaska. Even the interior of Alaska, which tends to be really, really cold, is nothing really crazy right now. Now, the pattern is going to reverse next week. Alaska will get much, much colder, and the lower 48 states will get much, much warmer. And actually, we've already kind of flushed out the worst of the cold. And as you can see by the 24-hour temperature change numbers here, the air mass is a little more hospitable across a lot of the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes this evening. Again, we're not going to call this a heat wave by any stretch of the imagination over the next couple of days, but it will be less harsh, that is for sure. In fact, we'll get into the middle and upper 20s tomorrow afternoon. All right, we've been talking about these late week snow chances all week. We are continuing to kind of fine-tune our forecast for Thursday and Friday. Thursday in particular has been kind of a challenge. This disturbance doesn't look like much, and it really isn't much, but it's going to scoot across the I-80 corridor tonight, and it will provide a little bit of snow for some areas tomorrow morning. In advance of our Friday system, which will also have a lake effect component to it, with a northerly wind off of Lake Erie, the Weather Service in Cleveland did hoist winter storm watches for a lot of their counties near the lakeshore. And that's because during Friday's snow, not only will there be what we call synoptic snow, just general snowfall, there's going to be some enhancement from Lake Erie with the wind coming almost due north, and so amounts are going to be a little bit higher. Cuyahoga County, where Cleveland is, Geauga County, Lake County, out towards Lorain, and even as far south as the Akron area. And so I wouldn't be surprised if this is upgraded to a warning out of our Friday system. I also think the Weather Service offices in Cleveland and Pittsburgh will also issue a big winter weather advisory encompassing a lot of eastern Ohio and western PA. This is a modest amount of snow, and it's coming over a long duration. This isn't, getting 4 or 5 inches in 6 hours. We're expecting probably 2 to 4 inches in a lot of our area in about a 14 to 16 hour period coming up later tomorrow night into the day on Friday. In fact, here's a look at some of our computer models. The spread, as you can see, most of this coming late Thursday night and during the day Friday. Very, very little on Thursday. We'll talk more about Thursday momentarily, but we've got a pretty good range advertised on the modeling here between 2 and 4 inches between late Thursday night and Friday evening. We think the odds, as a general, in a general sense for our viewing area, the odds are very strong that we see at least an inch of fresh accumulation. Pretty good odds of seeing at least 2 inches worth of snow. It becomes more of a 50-50 proposition once you're up to 3, and there's still a 1 in 4 chance that we exceed 4 inches out of this in our TV viewing area. Our 5-county TV market can't even totally rule out perhaps some somewhat higher amounts than that, but that would depend a little bit on some lake enhancement getting involved towards the end of the day on Friday. In the meantime, our Thursday morning forecast has always been kind of a tricky one. This kind of tongue of light snow, there's been a northward shift on the modeling over the last 36 hours with this. So in a lot of our TV viewing area, we're not going to see a flake tomorrow morning. But around and north of I-80, you might see a fresh coating of snow very early in the day. Best chance of this is even farther north than I-80. It's up towards the Ashtabula line. In western PA, it's up towards the Crawford-Mercer line. Those are the locations with the best chance of maybe seeing a fresh coating or a half an inch or so tomorrow morning. Some random flurries then for the rest of our Thursday. All right, timing on the Thursday night and Friday snow. Let's back up our model here to about 3 a.m. I think this is when snow will be overspreading the area from west to east. Wee hours of Friday morning, even a few hours before daybreak. We're talking 3, 4 in the morning here. But once it starts snowing, it's going to snow pretty steadily all morning and most of the afternoon as well. This will be a long duration event. Never all that intense, but it's going to snow for a good 12 or 14 hours straight in a lot of places before it becomes a little more scattered in nature towards the evening hours on Friday. And this will become more and more of a lake effect regime by Friday night into Saturday. You can see these kind of fingers of lake effect coming off of the Great Lakes. And you know the drill in lake effect. There's going to be the haves and the have-nots with this. In some parts of our area, we're not going to see much in the way of additional accumulation at all once we get past about 6 o'clock Friday evening. But in some parts of our area, from early evening Friday through Saturday, you might see a couple or even a few additional inches worth of snow. And you know, it's kind of the usual places that have the best chance of seeing that. You know, think northern Trumbull, northern eastern Mercer, places like that. So kind of the summary here of the next few days. Less than an inch of snow in our northern areas tomorrow morning. Flurries the rest of the day. Later tomorrow night, after midnight, but before daybreak, Friday morning, the snow returns to the entire area, and area-wide, a general 2 to 4 inches of snow. Pretty likely from late Thursday night through about sunset on Friday. Then Friday night into Saturday, scattered flurries, snow showers, localized additional accumulations with the lake effect regime that we do expect. All right, so we're going to hang on to the cold through the weekend. Now, I mentioned, the worst of the cold's behind us now, but, Saturday's still, kind of a harsh day. I think the wind chills will be largely in the single digits below zero on Saturday. Not as bad as this morning, but, still, you don't want to be outside too much on Saturday with the wind chills mostly below zero. A calmer day Sunday, no snow Sunday. In fact, a fair amount of sunshine may try to break out for Sunday afternoon. And then we really turn the corner into next week. There may be a system that brings us some sort of wintry mix for a time, Monday night and early Tuesday. Of course, at this time, this is 5-6 days from now. Confidence on that is pretty low as far as any details. But the transition from the deep cold to a big thaw oftentimes, I should say, is marked by some sort of messy storm. And there could be a brief period of something other than just rain or just snow Monday night and Tuesday, but largely raindrops will be the rule next week when it precipitates, because we're going to be well above freezing for a lot of next week. In fact, just beyond this 7-day forecast, I think we're going to flirt with 50 a couple of times towards the end of next week. And I think generally the harsh cold is not going to come back until maybe the second week of February. The first few days of February, at least at this point, and today's only the 17th, but about 2 weeks from now, the first few days of February at this point are not advertised by any of the modeling to be anything all that harsh in terms of temperature. Still expecting February overall to feature plenty of opportunities for cold and snow. We'll do an updated February outlook later this week or early next week, depending on how things go on Friday. We're going to be talking a lot about snow on Friday, so it may wait until Monday before we really start talking about the longer range, including the last month of meteorological winter. Thank you for watching tonight. I'll see you back here, same time, same place, on Thursday.